So the more we can get parents learning what's working with their kids and using these connection techniques, then parents can take those home and take the tiny moments, before dinner or at bath time or whenever it is, to connect with their kids. The fourth differentiator is that we are neurodiversity affirming. So we really believe in honoring the humanity in all of us. We're not here to change anyone, but we want to support everyone to lead a fulfilling life.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Gilda Evans, bringing you the Autism Resource Podcast. This podcast and the ARP website are your one-stop knowledge and resource space for autism and much more. I'm happy to have Dr. Jennie Trocchio as my guest today. Dr. Trocchio is an autism educator, advocate, and VP of Clinical Operations at Positive Development, the leading provider of developmental care for neurodiverse children and their families. Welcome, Jennie. And thank you so much for taking the time to join me today and discuss the work that you do.
Oh, of course. Thanks so much for having me. It's a real pleasure.
So to begin with, tell me how or why you feel that Positive Development is different from other autism therapy companies.
Sure, I'm happy to. So we are different in a number of ways, but I will narrow it down to five. So the first is we use a developmental approach. So we treat the whole child in a way that really fosters joy and growth. And that's really by following their lead and understanding how everyone takes in and processes the world around them. We really meet each child where they are in the moment at their level and using their interests. The second way is that we encourage and support parent involvement, giving each family the support they need to flourish both inside and outside of the therapeutic session. And that might differ from family to family, but we really want each caregiver to have the tools to feel that they can understand and connect with their kids in a way that's meaningful for them. The third way is that we think a lot about the time that's involved. So our preliminary research is finding that on average, children really need just between 6 to 10 hours of direct developmental care per week to see quite a bit of progress. And that number is a lot smaller than others, largely due to the parent involvement. So the more we can get parents learning what's working with their kids and using these connection techniques, then parents can take those home and take the tiny moments, before dinner or at bath time or whenever it is, to connect with their kids. The fourth differentiator is that we are neurodiversity affirming. We really believe in honoring the humanity in all of us. We're not here to change anyone, but we want to support everyone to lead a fulfilling life. And that, again, can look different for everyone. And we also really listen to feedback that neurodiverse advocates are giving us and are telling us what's working, what's not working, what feels good, what doesn't. So we really pride ourselves in that. And then number five is that we embrace the power of play, which I think is the most underutilized resource that we all have access to at our fingertips. But fun and playful interactions is how we all learn best. And so what might look like play to others is really developmental progress at work. So I think those would be our top five differentiators that we're pretty proud of at Positive Development.
Well, all of that actually makes a whole lot of sense. So let's get into the nitty-gritty a little bit, though. Tell me more details about the types of services that you offer and how you approach those particular services with your clients.
Absolutely. So we offer mental health, speech therapy, occupational therapy, parent coaching. We also have in-home developmental paraprofessionals, so they help sort of bridge the gap from center to home. And then we also offer care coordination to help take the burden of coordinating care off the shoulders of parents, because that can be quite daunting. And I think what's really most unique about the care that we offer at Positive Development is everyone on the team works together to create a personalized plan, and then everyone uses that same plan during work with any given client. And when we all work together holistically, it really makes sure that we're looking at each child as a whole. So we're not working through these silos. And I think our families really benefit from everyone on the team is on the same page. We all have the same goals. We're all doing the same things. So if a speech therapist has an idea or sees something that's this is really working, then they will share that with the whole team. So then the whole team's using those effective strategies throughout a given session. And just having that constant communication really makes sure that it's one plan and that we're all working with the same child and doing the same things really consistently.
So is it pretty typical that a client will access more than one service from you and that the different providers will work together as a team to coordinate the care that you provide? Is that right?
Absolutely. And that's sort of the ideal situation. And some clients might see outside providers, in which case we will try to make them part of the team as well, because we really think it works best when we're all on the same page and doing the same things. But yes, I think sort of the ideal situation is a family will get multiple services from us so that it looks the same in all different settings. It also takes away some of the confusion that can happen when there are different therapists using different approaches. We just want to eliminate that and make it simple and fun for everyone involved.
Okay, now I understand you have a number of different locations across the United States. Can you fill me in a little bit about that? Tell me where you're located. Do the families have to actually be physically there to access your services? Do you provide services online? Fill me in on that a little bit if you would.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're currently in 19 locations across the US, including 7 states and the District of Columbia, and we are still growing. So specifically, states are California, DC, as I mentioned, Florida, Illinois, Maryland, New Jersey, and Virginia. And families do have to be present. So we do offer some remote services, such as mental health can be done remotely, but we really believe that in-home piece is pretty crucial. So we want to make sure we can access the home. And then we offer occupational therapy and speech therapy, usually in center. And so even if a family is not able to access a center, we would likely have both speech and occupational therapists on the team to sort of support the work that's going on in the home. So we do have to be close to you just because we want to support every family.
And if a family is in a state that you're not located in right now, do you have a network? Can you help them out? Can you refer them to another provider so that they can get the service that they need?
Absolutely. We have a growing list of referrals. We do focus on developmental care. We will try to find other developmental care providers near that family so that they have access to that.
All right, so you touched on this a little bit, but I'm going to ask it more specifically. What does the future look like for positive development in your eyes? And also, what do you feel is the most important takeaway from this conversation for our listeners to remember?
I love it. Yes. So the future is looking bright at positive development. Momentum supporting developmental care options continues to grow, which then helps us to grow and really broaden access to developmental care, which is one of our primary goals. And really specifically, more research is mounting to support developmental care. And that's huge because it's really showing that this is effective. And as research is mounting, then insurance companies and insurance mandates start to go into place in certain states where they are now having to offer families all sorts of services that are evidence-based, but that allows us to then go into those states and offer developmental care options for families. And I think a huge takeaway for families is that there are options. And I think for a very, very long time, there's one way and that is it. And we want to say that families have a choice and that there are a number of different approaches that might feel best for a family, for a child. And we want to make sure every family knows that there are options. And if there are not some near you in this moment, hopefully they will be coming to you very, very soon. Because I think we all need options and there's not one thing that works best for all of us. But I think the parent intuition is so strong. And sometimes they know this is working or this isn't. And if it isn't working, there are opportunities to find something that feels good because it should feel good.
I totally agree with you. Options are really important. And you also brought up a good point. Does insurance cover most of the services that you provide? And if not, What about families who are financially challenged? How would they access this kind of service?
That is a really good question. So, as I said, there is mounting insurance that is covering this. So, for example, in New Jersey, Illinois, and most recently, as of October in California, Medicaid is actually covering services, which is huge. And that's sort of our ideal situation is we want it to be offered to all families. In California, also a number of regional centers offer our services, so that is covered. And we also have a number of private insurance companies who are coming on board. They're seeing the research and they are signing up. So we are really trying to make it so that every family does not have to pay for this out of pocket. We do offer pay out of pocket options, but we want to try to find a way to make it covered for each family. And it's starting and it's growing. So that's pretty exciting. But we will work with every family to do everything we can to make sure that they're able to access our services and that it's not a financial burden because there are so many burdens and let's try to take them away.
Yeah, I hear you. And that's really good to hear from you. So then tell me, how can families learn more? How can they find you? And if they want to, how do they start the process?
Absolutely. So you can find us at positivedevelopment.com. Just to spell it out, if that's helpful, it's POSITIVE development, DEVELOPMENT.com, which sounds like a mouthful, but positivedevelopment.com. You can just, look it up. And on our website, there's a getting started button in that top right-hand corner. And just by filling out a little bit of personal information, that can help us, that sort of activates the button to, we can verify insurance, we can let you know if we have providers in your area. If not, again, we will try to give you a referral to developmental care near you. But you can also find us on all social media platforms. And we really try to share a lot of news and a lot of tips and a lot of hints that will be helpful for families and for people who are just curious about what is this option? Why is it different? So we try to put out a lot of information for families all the time. So yeah, visiting our website or social media, we're on all the things.
Well, thank you, Jennie, so much for your time and for sharing your story and the story of positive development today.
Oh, it was such an honor to be here. Thank you so much for helping to spread the word that there are options and come check us out at Positive Development.
If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast. You can find it on Apple iTunes, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and other popular platforms. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And you can always access us and other great resources on our website, autismresourcepodcast.com. I want to thank our listeners for spending part of their day with us. This is the Autism Resource Podcast, and I'm Gilda Evans, reminding you to take care of yourself and that special person in your life.